I'm going to try to do something a little different today. I'm going to do a playthrough, or at least the setup portion of Warfighter, Modern Shadow War, Expansion 57, General Soleimani, and got this from DVG, and kind of promised them that I would try to do a little bit more content on this because I was very happy to get this from them. And I haven't played Warfighter Modern Shadow War in a while. I think the last one I played in this series was PMC, and which is more of an economic simulation. You're kind of running a business and running missions. So I'm kind of getting back into this, but this kind of jumped out at me, especially because of the recent mission that we had, taking out an ISIS leader. I thought this was, kind of a fitting mission to try out under Warfighter Modern. So another thing that's different is I've never done a playthrough before, or at least not taped. So this is going to be a little different for me, and bear with me. I'm not a rules expert, and I have so many games and play so many games that when I come back to one, it takes me a little bit to get back up to speed. But I thought I'd start out with small steps, baby steps, and so I thought I'd start with just kind of with the setup of this scenario, and maybe go over a little bit about what some of these things mean to the best of my ability as we're talking through this. So, the first thing you're going to do in here is select a mission, and there are several missions that you can select from in this packet. You have solo mission, single file, squad up, and long range. And I decided that I was going to do the solo mission because, heck, I'm playing this solo. And Warfighter, for those of you who are not familiar with it, can be played multiplayer, but really is kind of designed to be played solo. I mean, it's very, very solo friendly, if not best played solo. And so, but you normally play more than one fighter, more than one soldier in a setting. And this time I'm gonna do I'm just gonna do the solo mission here. And so that means something that's kind of different is you only get one soldier. Select one soldier. Okay. So in that regard, I'll select the soldiers, and the rest of these will, don't need these. And this goes into the mission slot here. And since I only have one soldier, I'll only have soldier number one be there. That's my one soldier. So actually, I don't know if we go with number one or. Yeah, I think we do that. I don't necessarily need the targeting ones now, because whenever they target anything, you normally put the numbers in a cup when the hostiles target something, and since we only have one soldier, they're only going to target that one. At least that's how I believe it's going to work out. So those can go off to the side. Next thing you're going to do is figure out your extraction. In this case, I'm going to do the ones that come with this mission is there's a helo. It's a UH-60 Blackhawk is going to land me there at night. That's my that's my insertion. I'll take that back. That's my insertion, and my extraction is going to be a helo MH6 that I have to keep this site clear for 3 turns. That is the 3 soldier turns. That means no hostiles in order to have the extraction here. So I'll put a keep clear 3 on that. Then next time you choose the mission, and the missions that you have to choose from here. Well, that's the mission, but now you choose the objective. And the name of this whole mission, or this whole scenario, is really Route Irish, so that's the objective. And that also keeps track if you get these commingled with other things, that which one you're looking at when you're trying to sort these out. I have dividers. There's not a divider for this one, but I have extra dividers that I use in my footlocker for Shadow to keep these kind of separated. So I can choose the smoke break, the escaping, the on alert, or the transport. The transport, you're going to have to use a JTAC attack, so you have to, you're going to have to do some spotting and drone and stuff like that. I decided that might be a little bit complicated to get into since I'm just coming back to this after a while. Soleimani on alert sounds like that might be kind of extreme there. Soleimani escaping means you got to fight him hand to hand, and I really haven't done a lot of hand to hand. I think I've only had like one hand to hand in all my combats. I normally just do straight out fire or evading. So I thought, let's keep it simple. Let's do him on a smoke break here, and the key here is that he has to be attacked from a range 2. So that's going to make this, when I do my build out, I need to keep that in mind. So I'll put that down as my objective. The rest of these go off to the side. And then we have the embedded, this is actually the target or the embedded objective, which is Soleimani. And, he goes above the objective. So, and then according to the mission, oh, look at that. According to the mission, it goes in objective spot 4. So he is going to be, there it is, objective spot 4. So I put that there. He's inactive and everything goes there. So I've got 2 locations that I have to uncover. You're going to get locations in the action deck. There'll be a location card that you have that you can play to draw from the location deck. And these are all locations that are unique to Route Irish or to this scenario. And you'll pull those, and then they might have additional requirements to play them, like discarding cards or other things. But then I'll put down have to get at least 2 locations before I get to him. Although I have to attack him from range 2. So range 0 is when you're in the same area. This would be range. So if I was here, this would be range 1 and this would be range 2. So I can actually need to attack him from my first location. So with that in mind, when I do the build out, I need to keep that in mind for what kind of weapons I might need to get there. The next thing you'll do is get your, these, you don't have to do these in any order. This is all just set up. Shuffle your action deck and then put, these are all the Warfighter Shadow action deck. Shuffle those up and get those into your action spot. So you have actions, locations. Then you're going to have your hostiles. And the hostiles in Shadow are a little bit different than regular Warfighter, either modern or World War II, which are the current ones that are out here, because these will have an unrevealed side. So, and usually the unrevealed side is, a little bit tougher. They might have more targets, and they might have, better special abilities, or their search might be tougher. So, or in their cover might be better. So you want to, uncover these, kind of reveal these over time. And your, of course, Night Goggles helps out with that and other things. But this is how they come onto the board. And some issues about this, this ability here, when you're pulling out reinforcements, this is the number that might come onto the board. So we'll look at that number, and this is also kind of an indication of how tough this hostile might be. This number here is just random movement. If you roll this number or lower, then it's going to move to that direction. If you roll this number higher, it's going to move to that direction, and it might be on your spot or move away from you. If it ever moves off this direction, then it's kind of moved off the board and it's out of play now. The search adds to the noise. That's something I might get into a little bit. That's really the key difference to this from modern, is the whole noise element. This is all focused on being stealth and trying to maneuver in without much noise or to evade targets. You're not going in with guns blazing, because that's going to be a recipe for disaster in a lot of these missions here. And so that search is going to affect if the first number is in your area and the next one is the one area over. It adds to its ability to locate you. And then it might have some additional rules on it when it's in your area. Just pull one out for random and look over when you reveal these, then you're going to have a different side. It's like for this one here has 3 targets, has a 5 cover. That's your cover number there. So that number you have to roll on a 6-sided dice. That number or higher to break through the cover to even get an attack in. But this is how many ones you have to take out. When you flip this over, it still has 3. So sometimes they might go down to 2. So this is what it is when you flip it over. But it's got a different attack here, different evade. You see the cover is a little bit lower. So it is a different target. This is what you perceive. This is what you what it actually is in that regard. So put that there. We'll also look back at our mission, and the mission says time is 10, so we put the timer on the 10 spot there. So we have our hostile decks. Another aspect about the hostile decks are in this scenario, there are reactionary forces. So when an alarm sounds, and we'll go into that, that's dealing with the whole noise issue. When an alarm sounds, you're going to, these forces come into play, and these are the reaction force, and they're pretty tough, if you can see here. You got 4 targets to take out, and they're pretty lethal combat there. They're going to wound you on a 5+ if they have all 4 of them in play there. Costs 6 experience points to evade them. Experience points is something you earn. That's another thing too on these hostiles. When you take one out, like this one, if you take this out, you're going to get 3 experience points for that. And you can spend experience points. You might spend experience points like for this kind of stuff. It might tell you what you have to expend to evade something, or it might be able to activate a card, or it might actually be able to, I can't remember what it's called now, upgrade or upboot, or I got to look that up. But it's able to increase the ability of a certain card, an action card. So experience points has multiple functions. It's kind of like a currency in this game. That other thing will come to me. And then it has penetration 2, so that means it's going to be able to take your cover down by that. So again, these guys are pretty lethal. So you don't want the alarm to sound, because you'll start getting these bad boys running after you on the board and coming after you there. So, another thing about Warfighter is, it's a linear game. You're going to start at the mission. Well, in this case, under Shadow, there's an insertion. You start at the mission. The insertion just gives you kind of modifiers for the mission, or especially for the first few areas. Then you're going to start with at the mission location, and then you're going to get other locations and then start moving till you get to your objective, take out your objective, and then you can't really get to the extraction until you take out the objective. There's an extraction box here, but I just put it here because that's where the mission according to this mission, it's in location 4, so I put the extraction right after that. So that's the time, the objective. These other 2 items here, you have resources. In this case is 26. I'll bring that up a little bit closer there. Resources is 26 and loadout is +5. So that's going to affect your building of, what character or soldier you select, and then what you can arm them with. And, there's weapons, there's skills, and there's equipment that you can arm them with. And then the loadout that's how much they can carry in a certain thing. This will also give you a modifier on the mission, like this one. There's no amphibious insertion or extraction. We got that. We're just doing helo. There's select one soldier. We're going to do that. 3 times during the mission, when you draw a hostile card, you may discard it. So that gives you a little bit. You only got one guy, right? So that allows you to kind of choose your hostiles and kind of pick something you can kind of take out. This is the movement. Normally this is the entry cost. And of course this is 0 because you're there, and so that's going to be a number there. So that's how many cards you got to discard from your action deck. This is a card game. Experience points are kind of a currency, but action cards are really the engine for this game. Drawing action cards, using them for their listed abilities, but also just discarding them to do certain things as well. because you need to discard them to do certain things like for entry. This one 0, of course, because you're starting out there. This +0, that's the additional bonus in the shadow that, usually that can be negated if you have, night goggles or something like that. You can try to negate that. But otherwise, if you don't, then that's an extra cost of cards you're going to have to discard to go in there. Oh, these other things on this mission are, so in the mission hex or in hex 2 or area 2 right here, this is the activity. That activity is the factor that you're going to compare noise to, and that's going to affect, how you can sneak through. Because, if you have a lot of activity, then, they're not going to notice you as much, right? 3+, there's this activity, and then there's confusion. When there's an alarm, that only happens when there's an alarm sounded, and then that's going to reduce the noise track, because when an alarm sounds, you're going to get up all the way to here, up to the top, alarm sounded, and then the confusion lets you take this back down, because in the confusion of everybody running around trying to figure out what was the cause of the alarm, where should the hostiles be going to? They're trying to figure out their orders and figure out what's happening. There's some confusion there, and that allows you to move forward and, help finish your mission in the midst of that confusion. So, you don't want to get to that point of having the alarm sounded, but if it does, you have a little bit of a reprieve to try to get it done before it happens there. So, what else do we have here? Back to the objective for a second here. This is, I'm going to put an inactive on this, because this is inactive till you get to close enough to be able to start activating the elements of what this card requires. He can only be attacked from range 2. It also has an issue of on alert, then you have a time limit of 3. So once there's on alert, then you got 3 turns to finish this card. Also, on any kind of location, you're going to have like the hostiles. This is how many hostiles you draw, and then this is a bit dependent upon the resources. Sometimes it depends on what resources that you picked for part of the mission. This one you only have 26, so we're going to be down in the 29 minus. So we're going to be drawing 2 hostiles, for this location. That's important for him because he's protected. So being protected means you can't attack him until you eliminate any of the other hostiles that are in the same area as him. So either they need to move away or you need to take them out so you can get a clean shot on him. So that's all these area of the map board. I've got some dice up here. This is basically a 10-sided game. You roll the 6-sided for, to get through cover, and you're going to roll the 10-sided or more to resolve attacks, either the hostile attacks or your attacks. You roll them at the same time. The number of dice you roll, sorry about that. The number of dice you roll depends upon your weapon, usually, and if you're doing a solo shot or a burst or an auto or something like that, that might let you roll more dice. In this scenario, of course, in Shadow War, the more dice you roll usually is based on, you're doing auto or burst or something. Well, that's going to usually create more noise. And so the more noise there is, this track's going to go up, and that's going to make these guys come in after you. So it's going to create a potential for alarm and potentially, find you out and take you out. Another thing, when hostiles come in, I've got some unaware counters here. Normally when hostiles come in, they come in unaware. If there's some noises here, then you'll roll and there's a chance for a pause. And if there's a pause, they pause and they stop. So you'll flip it to the pause side, because basically the hostile they heard something or think they heard something or maybe saw something or think they saw something. They're going to pause. And the next thing, if from the pause stage goes, they're going to be going for the alarm. They're going to be trying to figure out going for the alarm, and you have a certain amount of time before you get to the alarm sounded. And so that becomes again, there's a lot of timing here. It's kind of a balancing game. You're trying to keep quiet, but you got to take people out. Taking people out and moving creates noise. Creating noise makes people come on alert. The more they come on alert, they come after you and they go for the alarm, and then all hell breaks loose. So but that's kind of the aspect of this game. So there's an unaware, and then there's pause, and then you also have going for the alarm token there, and then eventually you can get to, the alarm is sounded, and when that happens, some of those tokens are going to go on some of the earlier, because they don't know where what's going on, so it's probably that's going to go on the mission and the 2 slot, but then that could start progressing throughout, and then you also start getting the reinforcements coming in. You start getting the reactionary forces might start coming in, and then again it starts spreading towards your location and really coming after you in that regards. You start off mobilization status, they're on duty, but if the alarm sounded, then they're on alert, and that's going to change these tokens as well. When noise occurs, every action you do, like you move, there's a chance to make noise. You fire a gun, there's a chance to make noise, and you'll compare that versus some of modifiers, or you might have shadow, and shadow lets you move or do certain things. If you roll the dice, you won't have as much noise or won't have any noise, so that will keep this down. But this is going to go up. So like if you have 5 noise, then this will go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to be in this area here where rolling a 2 or less will sound the alarm. If you stay in the green, you don't have a chance for alarm to sound it, but you get up in this red, it's 7 or more. So, and if it gets up to here, the alarm automatically sounds. What else you have here? So you have pauses. There's a roll for the pause to see if that happens as well. And again, that's the general layout of the game. So you've got your decks ready to go, you've got your dice, you've got these counters ready, and you got this chart here, which is kind of the main thing you're monitoring during the game is the sound. So now let's go to you have another faction, another aspect of the game here on setup is you have this on the ground. I don't think this is mandatory. I don't know if that's one thing about sometimes I get in the DVG rules, I don't kind of have a hard time figuring out where stuff's at. There's not the best referenced or layout sometimes, but you have this on the ground, which is doesn't come. I don't think comes in the base game. I think this comes in expansions, and of course comes in this scenario. So you're going to draw one of these, and that's going to give you the initial kind of state of the situation. So let's draw one of those. Oh, we got quiet streets. There's like 3 options here. So I'll put these off to the side, and then we got quiet streets. So that's going to affect reduce the activity by 1 when placing a location. Pay 2 experience to permanently decrease the interest cost by 2. So quiet streets. So that means there's not a lot of activity. So that means they potentially might be able to hear you more. So that's actually, I don't think that's a good thing for us, is my understanding. Let's get to our soldiers. Remember, according to the mission, we got to pick 1 soldier. So in this case, this is my, you have soldiers, single soldiers, you have non-player soldiers, and you have squads. Let's start. In this case, we're going to have to pick. Well, we can pick anything out of the whole set. I have several from Modern and from Shadow, but I'm going to play with what comes in this scenario. These are the ones that come in this scenario. So I'll probably pick one of these 2. But the other ones you have here, you have a non-player soldier. And just so you know here, they come with, you don't build these out. They're the cover's built in, their actions are built in. So this is their health. So they have 3 health. If they get down to 0, then they're kind of knocked out. But this is how many actions they have based on their health. They have their built out equipment, and they have built out skills in there. With squads, they're a little bit better than or easy to manage for the cost than non-player soldiers. But again, there's no build out on them. So you're going to have their actions. In this case, they can only have 2 hits, so not as much. But you've got your range to range 0 kill. This is the number here, so they really don't have range, but they do have some equipment, and they have suppress noise and shadow. So they do have some skills and some abilities built out on them. So this is, what you can get. I mean, these usually the squads cost the least amount, but they're not as effective. The the NPCs are cost, more, but they're not as good. You can't fully build them out, so you can't, customize them as much as you'd like to. And then you got the soldiers. So we can put these off because this is a solo mission, so I got to pick a soldier here. And it says to pick one soldier. I mean, they're all considered. Maybe I can pick an NPC, but I think it's better to pick a soldier because then you get to do their build out. So my choices here are Duke and Cernucci. I guess I pronounced that right way. I mean, there's some pluses and minuses there. This person, that's their cost generally if you're like doing a campaign game or something. This one looks a little bit better, but it depends what you're going for. If I was doing that mission where I had to do hand-to-hand, I'd probably pick this one because Duke has a +1 hand-to-hand. The cover's not as good, so it's easier to hit, but it's got more health. It's got 1 more health. And health is also your hand size, so Duke will have 6 cards versus Cernucci will have 5. Loadout's a little bit better on Cernucci, but according to the mission, you get a +5 loadout on this mission. Loadout's how much you can carry, and that's mainly equipment and weapons have a loadout cost. And so, in this case, I'm probably going to go with Cernucci because I need to be really, really quiet as I'm going through this thing. And I like the fact that he can take more damage. The health's not as good, but he gets an extra card here. This is combat experience. That means, so he gets his hand of 5 cards from action, which is, based on the health, but then they get another 1 card that's over off to the side, and that's how many cards they can hold off to the side. But they get that every turn. So if they play that card every turn, they're going to get that filled back up every turn. So, and then they get 2 experience points, and as I told you, experience points is kind of a currency here. It can be used for several things. So we'll start out with 2 currency. It's got Shadow 6+, where Duke had Shadows 8+. So I mean that's a lot better. So on a roll of 6+ on a 10-sided die, it's going to be able to reduce noise and the like. And Night Goggles 3rd edition. I mean, most of these come with that, and that automatically has that equipment built in. You don't have to pay for or buy that equipment as part of your build out. So I'll start with him. He gets 2 experience points. Players get 2 actions. So and then when you use an action, you're used. And you have actions like move and fire, and you can discard your hand and draw back up. Those are all kind of different actions there. I might go over that when I get to more of a real playthrough. So I'm going to kind of pick my build out here. I'm knowing that I got to go attack 2. I have to have something that hits from 2 areas away or has range 2+. I'm going to take an M14 rifle because it's got range 2. But only if you use the bipod. So I'm going to try to get to this location, set up shop. Hopefully it's a decently protectable location, and then start taking shots from there. The noise is not the great. It's got +1 to penetration, so that's going to take this down to a 3. That's helpful. But the noise is -2, so these are kind of noisy. It costs 6 as part of my resource build out. I have a 26 resource build out, but the loadout is 5. So my loadout is 13 plus 5, so my loadout's 18. So I've got plenty of loadout on this guy. So in 2 range, I mean, also the reload on a weapon there. What that means is when I roll for attack, if I roll the reload number or lower, then I got a chance I have to reload, and then I'll use up my ammunition. Plus it takes time, and I'll use up ammunition. But this is a 1, so this is like the lowest you can get, right? So shouldn't be rolling below 1 very much. So even though I only have 4 ammo, I mean, feel pretty good. I probably don't need to get a lot of extra ammo there. And then it's really good kill rate. If 5 or higher takes them out. So not very good close range. So on close range, something that I might do, and then what I do here, I'll put the bipod there, and then that's when you have it set up, and that will stay in the location until you move away. For ammo, I'll probably end up doing, black ammo, because this is has less noise, but it costs more. So, and then you have regular ammo, which is just regular ammo. It's going to have the regular noise level. So I'll probably end up getting a couple of those. I would probably get more, but given that the reload is so low, I don't think, I don't know, so know if I need to get a lot more, because I shouldn't hopefully be going through a lot on that. The other thing I'm going to do here too is, this is something I didn't really see in the rules much. I was trying to look for it on how you can switch between weapons, and maybe I just missed it in the rules. But I think you can kind of freely switch between weapons. I know there's rules on transferring weapons to other soldiers, but I'm by myself. So I think I need something for 0 range, because this is, hits on a 10 plus, so on a 10-sided dice. That's going to be tough to take out people in the same area. So I'm going to bring an MP5 submachine gun, suppressed, of course, that will help me out in the, in the same area. So this has got a reload of 2, but it has 8 ammo, so it's got plenty there. And it kills on a 7. That's not bad. So, and I can choose between semi or auto on this. So now that's going to, if I go auto, that's going to increase noise. So I got to think about that. But the suppressed noise is -4, so that's pretty good overall. So then the ammo on this one, I'll probably do some black ammo, and I'll probably also bring some, because I don't have a ton of resource points to spend extra. Once you see my rest of my build out, I'll probably end up subsonic. Now subsonic is suppressed, so it keeps the noise down like black ammo, but it's got -2 penetration, so it's not gonna so if I'm going up against stuff that has heavy cover, that's not going to be good. So anyway, so I might take that in case I run out of this stuff. I can go into that if hopefully if the target's not that protected, and then I'll take some regular ammo in case of an emergency there. Other things, since this is going to be kind of somewhat of a sniper mission, I'm going to take Executioner. It's going to cost 2 to my resource points. This is a skill. It doesn't have a loadout, and you can pay 1 experience points after performing a range 2 attack, inflicting EKAI instead of a suppress. So I can automatically get a kill there instead of a suppression. And just for that matter, when you roll on like an attack, you've got to roll its cover or higher, and you've got to roll whatever your hit is or higher. And if you get both of those, then you get a kill. If you roll one but not the other, then you get a suppression. And if you roll neither, well, then you got nothing. So that's another aspect of the game there. Then you also, the rest of the finish my build out here, I'm going to do covert gear, because I really want to get my shadow rolls. I'm already at 6-, but man, I'm going to be soundless here. Because this add 2s to my rolls, so I'll do some, and the loadout's 0, so that just hits my resource points, which is, again, 26 per the mission. I've got a night sight here. This helps me out again for range +1 attacks, because again, I'm planning on having to do that here. So this helps me out with that. That's a 3 resource point and a 1 to load out. I'm going to take this. Let's see here. You can purchase this for any soldier. This replaces Night Goggles 3rd generation. So I come pre-built with Night Goggles 3rd generation. So this is kind of an upgrade to that. It's going to cost me 3, and then I have a loadout of 1. Now, if I didn't have that, then I'd have to buy both the 3rd generation Night Goggles and then pay for this, which would be a lot extra. So this only costs the upgrade, and that's going to help me out on revealing stuff down the road. So I can kind of get it open and then take it out with my night sights and Executioner. And then I've got, and then this is the Night Goggles. I don't have to pay for this because it comes with comes built into the soldier I selected. I always pull it out though, so I just remember that I do got this, or I do have this. I do got this. Well, that sounds great. But so I do have this. So anyway, so that is the setup. If I've messed up something, let me know in the comments. I probably have, or might have not explained something exactly entirely correctly. But that's. I'm going to go through the rules again before I get started on this, but at least I thought I'd start with the setup of this. I'm planning to play this through, and I don't know if I'm going to do it a playthrough as I play, and so you can hear all my ramblings and misunderstanding of the rules, or if I'll just do like recaps of each area and show you where I'm at. I haven't figured that out yet. One thing is one of my limitations is, I do one shots. I'm like Alfred Hitchcock of war game media. I just do a one shot. I don't do a lot of editing. Or any editing really. I mean, the only editing I do is maybe to tag something on at the end or put my intro and outro stuff. That's the extent of my editing so far. I don't do any smaller edit. So anything you see on my channel, that's it. I did that, and that was what you got. And it probably shows, to be honest with you. So until I get, some better technical skills and some better software or whatever, I kind of do it as a one-shot thing, so that also limits. I don't want to be sitting here just rambling and going on and on and on and wasting dead space like I'm doing right now. So that because I don't really have the ability to. I don't have the ability of the time or the experience, or you just name it. I got a lot of excuses there of getting that all put together right now. So anyway, I want to do this setup. What do you all think about this? Are you interested in the scenario? Are you interested in this game? Does this look interesting to you? And do you guys want to see a live playthrough, or just kind of recaps, or just a summary at the end? This is what happened, and I'll just do an overview. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with that. I've been hesitant to do anything, like full playthroughs because of, again, all my excuses that I just thrown out before. Whether they're valid or not, they're my excuses. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I thought I'd start with. But as always, hey, thanks for spending some time with me. Thanks for watching.